Let's start. Hello everyone, welcome to the Jenkins Infrastructure Weekly Team Meeting. Today we are the 2nd September 2025 and we have a full roundtable today with myself, Damien Duportal, Jay Reddy, Mark White, Stéphane Merle, Kevin Martins and Hervé Lemeur. Cool, thanks everyone. The notes are in the channel, the links to the shared note, and they will be published as usual. Okay, let's get started with announcements. Last week, the weekly release 2.525 was successfully released despite a package issue. Thanks, Mark and Stefan, for taking care of this. I I've let a lot of leftover 2 weeks ago. That was one of these. I forgot to backport the LTS change back to weekly. So it was trying to use the pull request we were using for validation, and everything was merged in master, so the branch was not existing. So you cooked the issue and it was fixed. Many thanks. That's all for me on that topic. Are there things you want to add on last week weekly release? Okay, cool. That's the second weekly release on the third Jenkins release, including the LTS, not using OSU OSL as on the critical path. It's just copying data to PKG and archives and mirror bits, of course. And then OSU OSL is used asynchronously. That doesn't change the time from release to availability on mirrors. But if OSU OSL goes down, we are not blocked anymore. Note that was also the first step to splitting absolutely update center and package releases. The end goal is the update center generation should not copy any data in the PKG service or machine. That's the next step. This week, the release 2.526 started on time, so we'll check. Nothing weird should happen. I haven't touched anything, so that should work. Just a quick look on the roadmap. So yeah, I'm sorry, that's one of the last leftover I have from the holidays. I still haven't updated the roadmap. So CI Jenkins IO is considered migrated to AWS since now 2 to 3 weeks. Despite the issues we have, it's working and that's how we roll. We are entering the migrate PKG origin machine to our modern Azure infrastructure. Also, I think, and I propose, do you think it's worth adding the Windows 2025 add-on and 2019 depreciation here? That will also be depreciation of 2022 behind the hood. However, that one is not sure. So 2019 is sure. So any work around using Windows Server 2019 should be decreased at the minimal effort. We should enter an area for the upcoming 6 months of least effort on these images. Whether both on the SIG part, but that's for Bruno, Mark, and others to decide. But on the infra, it will be minimalistic support. It fails, not our problem. That's end of life, and we are focusing on 2025. That should be the default, and that should help us on many things. And we have created a start issue with explanations. Stefan is working, is gonna take the lead on this one. Ideally, we should only have Windows Server 2025 on the Jenkins infra, because in theory, that should bring us many benefits, including dev drive for performances, better NVMe management, and with Docker CE and or Docker Desktop, we could provide only one Windows Server line that could run container for every older lines, such as 2022 or eventually 2019. If that one works, like on Windows 11, that will be really a help for us because that will allow us to manage less Windows line, only one at a time.
So is that even, I wasn't aware that that was even a thing. That I thought Windows, Docker on Windows was always tied to exactly one kernel version. No, they've now broadened it so it can do
But
older versions.
in fact, you can run all distribution all across. The idea is that it use container isolation if you have the same kernel for the requested image as the host operating system. However, if you have the right component and the right setup, so that's a big black box, I'm not gonna go in the details here, and you run Windows 2019 on a Windows 2025, it will use Hyper-V virtualization isolation instead of container. So the container startup is a bit slower. I mean, in theory, in practice, you have to download 3 GB of data. So the time to bootstrap the virtual machine and seeking the data directly on the bootloader of the micro virtual machine is absolutely hidden. That's what
Hmm.
happened with Docker Desktop on Windows 11. Whatever Windows-based version you run on the Jenkins image, for instance, you can run them. Some are faster than others to bootstrap because they use the same blocks of kernel than the Windows 11 machine you have. So that will be another benefit. So that's why I believe it's important enough to mention on the Jenkins roadmap, unless someone objects.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
cool.
For me, that's high value and high potential. The dev drive thing is very interesting to me. The Docker stuff is also interesting, but dev drive as a way of potentially accelerating sounds very attractive.
Okay, cool, thanks. And 2019 depreciation. Okay. And of course, the migration of PKG origin is a big one that hides many subtasks behind, including managing and decreasing the Azure CDF costs, but not only. Are there any other priority, epic, or top-level topic that we should mention here or that we should focus on? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, cool. So we have our priorities. Um, some subtasks that are hidden. We will have a few minor subtasks, such as migrating Kubernetes, bumping Kubernetes 1.32. That implies creating a new cluster for public gates because its network configuration will be deprecated in October. Same as the default network setup for this free virtual machine that we should also try to decrease because they are over allocated. So there might be a bunch of minor tasks hidden behind. So we compress the cost and we get enough uh, invoice space so we can move PKG. And then we will benefit from, again, decreased cost afterwards by transferring less data from Azure to AWS. That's all for the announcement. Do you have other announcement, folks? Nope. Okay. Quick look at the calendar. Next week, we will have a weekly release 2.527, next Tuesday, 7 September. Next LTS will happen 17 September. That will be 2.516.3. I don't know who is the release lead. I have a guess that it might be Hervé, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes, Hervé's, and we're up arriving. Yeah, release candidate build is still on plan for Wednesday, right, Hervé? We've got a green build now, so we can.
Yeah, I've run the incremental against ETH and BOM with success.
Yes, yes.
Build. So we say I'm writing flaky, even though
Yes,
I don't know. I don't have the context.
yes, it was flaky, and it is. Yes, it's
Incrementals, incremental product. So just just for me, because I've never followed the RC generation since it looks like a partially manual process. The RC bits are built and generated from CI Jenkins IO. Is that correct?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the RC we just use an incremental that's published off of ci.jenkins.io on the stable -2.516 line.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, do we accept the risk that the RC bits that we deliver to testers could be potentially vulnerable things?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
If that's a known risk and that is written for the tester, that's okay. Because
yes,
it's built on CI Jenkins IO, so potentially it has been broken.
It's not
right.
it's not explicitly noted as such in the GitHub release pre-release page, but yeah.
Okay. That's something for the release SIG. I remember there were discussion about generating these from release CI in the future. That could be interesting to have in mind. But that was just a curiosity question for me. Okay, thanks. Anything else about LTS and Next Weekly?
No.
Okay. Next security release tomorrow. So tomorrow, Damien, please don't break the infrastructure. I've asked Daniel if we can start earlier, 2 hours earlier than usual. And that might we are going to discuss that for the upcoming security release and LTS releases. Because in my case, I will have a schedule change. And with Stefan, we discussed all the LTS and advisory happens when Stefan has his kiddos, so it's hard to stay late. The problem is we have other downstream people who might slow down the issue. That means for us it's late our day. Problem is that I'm gonna have to go early and early this year because I'm gonna give courses to rock climbing courses, and I will have to go early as well, which means we don't have a lot of spots. So either we find someone else that can take care of things late when it's broken, or we need to start earlier. I would prefer earlier. 2 hours earlier is good enough. So we'll test this new schedule for this security release, and we'll see if we can repeat it for the LTS and eventually other advisories in the upcoming 2 months. Anything else on the security release? Nope. Okay. Credential that will expire. Mainly update center Cloudflare credential that expire the 10 next week. And others are Terraform state credentials. Stefan and I discussed that we might have to deliver them. Usually that's the opportunity for us to also bump the Terraform version because they have every 3 months a new minor version. We have to take care on them on the upcoming milestone. Are there other? My bad. Do we have other credential that you are aware of? Okay. I'm gonna create the issue with instructions. So the goal is for Stefan, if you are okay with your planning to take care of this, if I give the guidance. Okay, cool. Create issue.
That's what was planned already.
Cool. To run it. And if you're okay, I'm gonna take care of the update center, so we split the burden. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, that's all for the calendar. Are there anything else, folks, on the calendar? Okay, so let's have a look at the cloud budget. Oh, kiddos are bad for the health. On the Azure CDF account, we consumed effectively 5.8K during the month of August. We should have an invoice at around 5.9K. So that's way less than expected. That's cool. That means the work we did during the past 2 weeks by moving everything inside that and compressing costs has had an effect. As a reminder, 2 weeks ago, the forecast, our own forecast was 6.8K. Microsoft was saying 7.5, but yeah, That was a summer holidays even for the AI at Microsoft. Reminder that for 2025, ideally the maximum threshold is 6.4K. I will want us to stay at 6.0, and we need to see for the whole month of September if we can continue decreasing. We will have the discussion in October, as I wrote to Michel at the CDF. How much money will we need from the CDF for paying the Azure CDF account? And right now, with the current projection, 6K monthly means 72 yearly. That's more than what we have this year and what we had last year. We had 60 as a reminder. So we'll need to see if we can decrease the amounts or find solutions. Additionally, we will have the discussion about should we stay on Azure. Now that we have exhausted the sponsored credits, we don't have any, let's say, hard reason to stay on Azure except the cost of a migration. So if we find a new cloud home where we can reliably work, maybe the solution will be to move things around. That's something to have in mind. We have to challenge this. I don't say we should, I just say we have to ask the question to ourselves. Because as far as I can tell, the CDF doesn't care what cloud is used as much as we stay within the budget on what they can pay for us.
Right.
Are there any questions on the Azure CDF cloud account?
Just sincere congratulations. Marvelous, marvelous work to keep that under that budgeted amount. I was astonished. Thanks very, very much, Damien. You did great things.
Thanks. That's, as usual, teamwork. Because having ideas is something, putting them in perspective and in production is something else that need a village.
I grant you the majority of the benefits. You're the good. You're really good.
Thanks. Next, cloud budget. Azure sponsorship, that's the last time we see that item in the notes. It has been officially removed, and I removed my card finally from Azure, and I disabled the subscription. So if you see emails in the upcoming 3 months from Azure saying, we are sad to see you go, it's because I cleaned up subscription. And they tend to be, yeah, marketing, right? Marketing email. Anyway, that's the last time. We are really grateful for the big amount of money they let us. And now we have to focus on the rest. Any question on this one? Okay, so Digital Ocean, nothing to say. That will be the next one in which we will put things. So we are going to start during the month of September. And yep, I propose that we start renewing with them in October, so we have enough time to plan or change directions. Right now, our consumption is low, even with the virtual machine that Jay is using for his training. AWS and CloudBees, we keep seeing increased data, mostly because PKG origin seems to be hit by request that makes no sense. Is that a script kiddie? No, better. It's your friend LLM, right? Same pattern as in CI Jenkins IO. So the service is expected to be served behind Fastly. And still, you have these shitty things that just go on all the host names that are available, and they just try all the URL and crawl everything everywhere. That's insane.
So it's that we're being explored in a way that's bypassing Fastly?
Yes, because you can access the service using pkg.origin.jenkins.io instead of pkg.jenkins.io without the origin.
Okay, right.
For Jenkins.io, which is hosted on Azure, Olivier put in place in the past a technique that issue redirects unless you specify the specific host that doesn't map to the URL. That's equivalent to Fastly accessing the system. We could also put IP protection in place, but since PKG is going to move to Azure, we are going to apply the same technique as Jenkins.io, and we should be good.
Okay, so the fact that we've got heavier than expected bandwidth use by pkg.origin.jenkins.io for now is okay
Yeah,
because it's going elsewhere, right? It's
exactly.
okay, got it. Thank you.
It's not worth the effort right now because
Right.
yeah, we need to find all the IP, put the automation in place when the IP change to avoid fastly unable to update the cache and stuff. Yeah, that's a lot of work. So yeah, better to do it if we need in Azure.
Okay.
So that's why we have a slight increase. On the sponsored account, we have consumed almost 6.1K, which means we are at the threshold, which is bad and good, because that means we need to find a solution to decrease a bit if we want some margin. Three areas here for AWS, that's CI Jenkins IO. First, the EC2 plugin, since the past 3 weeks, is doing the same thing as it did in the past. It started doing word provisioning. I don't know why, and it's hard to track. Jesse Glick acknowledged that there is a well-known over-provisioning. Suddenly the system panic and it's hard to reproduce, but when it starts to provision every template available. As if it was a bug with the always keep me one machine available at any time feature. As if. The problem appeared with the updates 2 weeks ago, more or less. There were something related to a feature from CloudBees HA behavior with our fund instance. The good thing is that since we have the problem, Jesse guided us on better practices. Globally, he validated our configuration, but he recommended to enable the option not to reconnect to our fund instance. I'm still not sure if it's helping us because sometimes looks like we have network issues in Amazon. And so the agent are marked as disconnected. And in the past, I remember they were reconnecting quite a few seconds afterwards. So I'm not sure how the EC2 is tagging the instance as orphaned or not. But yeah, there is something weird on that area. Two potential causes on the over provisioning. One is around the behavior and the bug in the provisioning itself. The second is maybe there is a resource contention due to this wonderful LLM crawling CI Jenkins IO that it's all the thread because it keeps parsing XML JUnit result file on the controller. And so suddenly the EC2 plugin doesn't have enough room for its threads. We see the messages in the logs. So that's the first problem. Second problem, spot instances. We keep hitting spot capacity issues. We never had this. This one is new. We never had this in the past. I thought changing the availability zone as per the messages would help, but now we have moved from the zone B to the zone A. Now we hit the capacity message that say, hey, you should use B and C instead. So we are in an area where we need to balance the cost between spot instances on demand instances and the ability to go and spread the load over multiple availability zones, which means paying for the data transfer between availability zones. Thank you, Amazon. And right now, the cost means maybe spot is not what we want because using spot to have the right capacity when it's needed shows that we increase, now it's $40 daily of just data transfer between zones. And I'm not counting the data going out to the internet. So yeah, we need to find a technique. I've commented, looks like we have new documentation on EKS and new support. Once we will reach Kubernetes 1.33, we will have easier features and facilities to have Kubernetes cluster providing services in multiple AZ from a single cluster. Because our problem is we have the controller, but the controller is not that much an issue for the data transfer because we use S3 artifact for stash and archive artifacts. However, we have the problem of ACP and Docker containers. When you have an agent, if you tell the EC2 plugin to, hey, you have this free AZ, select one where you have capacity, I don't care. If you are not using the same AZ as where you have ACP, when you start downloading Maven stuff, you will pay for that data. So the idea and the concept, in theory, we should be able to have one ACP per AZ, one Docker registry mirror per AZ, And S3 and Amazon Container Registry are cross AZ. We don't pay for transfer for these. So only the services we host need to be on each AZ. In theory, that will allow the EC2 plugin not to be constrained by one AZ. If we go and we spread the load on 3 AZ, we should get rid of the capacity problem and keep using Spot. That's the idea. The third point, and I think that's the one we should focus on first, and until then accept that yes, developer will wait for capacity, and that's how things work.
Hold on,
Because
because maybe when we right now when we get hit by the message that spot instances are not available, it's switching back to paid instances to normal paid
to on
instances.
demand, yes.
Yes,
But
so
the impact on a job such as ATH of this behavior, fallback behavior, means you can wait 20 to 30 minutes to have a
okay,
virtual machine
got it.
because there are timeouts everywhere. The problem we see on ATH is that Spot says, oh, I have capacity. So it starts the virtual machine. The machine is reclaimed during the boot phase, during the first 2 minutes of its life. And then the Spot claim is removed. So that's Jenkins is still waiting for the agent to connect before saying, oh, timeout, the agent has a problem. So it goes back to EC2 plugin that say, oh, yes, because the Spot is reclaimed. So the time added for each machine is between 5 to 10 minutes sometimes before EC2 say, okay, now no more Spot, let's go on demand because we need to run the build. So yes, we end up with on demand and the builds are working as expected. But yeah, it depends when the Spot instance is reclaimed. That's how AWS work.
So and that's the nature of it's conceptually allowed that we ask for a spot instance and before it ever connects, it's allocated to us and then taken back, right? Because they say
Exactly.
they can take a spot instance back at any time, right? There's no promise that they'll give us spot instances for any period.
I think
Yep.
there's a 2 minute period.
Ah,
If I
2 minutes.
remember-
60 seconds. 60 seconds.
Oh,
Okay,
1 minute.
so there's a very brief period, but that's not enough to us for us to assure that it got the connection to the good. Okay, so but
Of,
what do we do about it?
so we can spread the request for Spot on multiple availability zones because Spot capacity is per AZ. One AZ, at least in US, is 2. One AZ is 3 buildings. And you have 3 different sites with 3 buildings each. So if you spread across A, B, and C, you spread on an area in Oregon where you have 100 kilometers between all the areas. So of course, that means the physical capacity of the servers and the physical capacity on the rooms, and of course, the biddings on Spot instances is not the same between the 3 sites. So that's why we need to, ideally, we should be able to spread across the 3 systems. But yes, spreading across different availability zone is not an easy problem when you run such a workload.
If you don't think about the cost, it's okay. You just open the
Yep.
doors and it's done. But we need to pair between all those ARA, which is completely crazy because
Exactly.
it's just a line. I mean,
So in theory, if we can have quickly ACP and Docker Hub Mirror, we could start spreading the Spot instances across the availability zones. Note that it's only the EC2 plugin. The Carpenter for the containers is really good and efficient for that. So Carpenter knows that it can spread across zones and can immediately select the right one in less than 20 seconds. That's the slowest decision making I've seen. 20 seconds. It's really powerful. So yeah, I don't know if we could use Carpenter inside the EC2 plugin. That will help a lot. Because another leverage we have is reconsidering the instance sizing we have. We are using one family line, but maybe suddenly they are out of capacity for this specific CPU set. So maybe switching to another family could help. We need to reconsider this. That's the cloud law. Every 3 months, you have to reconsider your instance size and family.
yes, we did a spreadsheet if I remember correctly with that. No,
Yes,
I'm
but
mixing. I'm mixing
that
stuff.
spreadsheet is already out of date.
Of course.
We
Of
need to
course.
look and additionally, don't forget we have a constraint. We only want instance family where we have a local NVMe
Yeah, the
called
NVMe,
instance storage. Otherwise,
the
yep,
Z
we
drive.
are done. Otherwise, we will spend bazillions of dollars on EBS IOPS,
Yeah.
which works. As we with Basil, we saw really powerful. You can use EBS with a good IOPS, but you might not want to pay $300 per hour for a build, right?
In fact, it's always a money problem, if I understand.
Yeah, exactly. If you have money, you can buy
Let's get
NVMe's
rich.
and good CPU, or buy your own machine. Anyway, finally, we have the BOM optimization. That one could help decreasing that will have a visible effect. We can expect 1 to 2K less monthly, but that's another problem. I guess we need to first work on the spot part because the user experience is terrible right now. The last option is reconsidering running CI Jenkins IO in AWS. I mean, we consume 60K yearly for the whole Azure infrastructure, so inverting could be a solution. Anyway, enough food for thought. JFrog, one last metric, 21 terabyte. We see 2 to 3 terabyte less than the previous months on outbound bandwidth. Good news. So thanks, Mark and Darren, for the huge work here. I think we can continue improving things, but right now, yeah, that's a visible decrease. Yes, Mark?
Yeah, Darren's daily reports, I've got to work with him on tuning them because I think that IP addresses for ci.jenkins.io must have changed
Yes.
because his reports now show that it's using almost nothing. And
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's not using almost nothing, that it's using something. So
Yep.
I'll
They
work with
changed.
Darren.
They changed 2 weeks. I think they have changed in the past 2 weeks once or twice.
Okay, so
We publish these IPs on a report once a day. So maybe Claude could retrieve the IPs and use them to aggregate. I guess that should be something an LLM I expect it to be good at if you
and
point it to the right IP.
right, and I'm pretty sure that he'll know how to do that. So I'll just talk with him to be sure. We're making good progress. That part is and the final data shows that. That's good.
Cool.
There's more to be done. We've still got to optimize the Docker build process, and there's some other places like backend extension indexer that we may need to consider doing something different. Good.
Yep. Thanks. Okay, are there any other question on the cloud billing? I see there is a question. Hello, Saxam. You are asking, AWS cost optimization was discussed. Is there a public repo where contributor can follow infra cost tracking tasks? I'm not sure to understand the question. Everything is public on our help desk, and all the meeting notes are available. Is
Yeah,
that what
so
you meant?
yeah, so my interpretation of the answer there is yes, help desk, and yes, weekly meeting notes are the two places where we track our cost optimization efforts.
Stefan or anyone else, can you share the links to Saxam in the chat while we continue? Thanks, Hervé. Okay, unless someone object, let's move on the milestone management now. Nothing else? Okay, so the tasks we were able to finish during the past milestone. First, on the category keep platform up to date. Thanks, Stefan. You renew a bunch of credentials. That helped a lot. They were going to expiration, and these are areas where we cannot afford using credential-less systems, even with IO OIDC. Sometimes it's because of safety reasons. Sometimes it's because the effort is not worth renewing every quarter. Nothing to say, Stefan, on the credential, no issues. Everything were
No,
run
I
smoothly.
don't remember anything wrong. went smoothly.
Thanks. Support tasks. We have two less mirrors now serving Jenkins files. Both of them were off since quite some time now. Thanks, Stefan, for taking care of that. Both mirrors maintainer confirmed they were working on their servers for whatever reasons, so that's why. So yeah, we have removed the
Oh,
servers. Okay, yes, Stefan.
I disabled manually both of them, but I removed only one for now.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
letting 1 or 2 days to remove the other one. I sent an email directly to the admin this morning.
Okay, sorry. I was a bit, a bit
That's okay.
enthusiastic.
Don't worry. Don't worry. But next time I will create two different issues. That was silly to do only one.
Okay, so since it's my mistake, I'm gonna take care of the cleanup, so you don't have to worry on this one then. Cleanup,
Thank you.
the last mirror and runbook. Cool. Thanks, Stefan, for that work.
And for the
And
runbook, there is a pull request open for the removal in the runbook.
cool. And also, in the long list of leftover before my holidays, when I migrated the Redis and MirrorBits instances to the new system, I forgot to put back Servana mirror. It was on the runbook, so I don't know what I did wrong, but it was absent, so clearly it was me. Thanks, Stefan, for taking care of that. Leftover of Redis and MirrorBits 0.6 migration. Thanks, Stefan. Stefan, anything else except throwing rocks at me?
No, no, I'm happy to see that you left some stuff for me to check out when you're away.
I,
That
I,
was
I
a
knew,
good welcome gift.
yeah, I knew you were going to be bored otherwise.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Mark, for taking care of resetting the password for Hervé. So Hervé, you have access to your account and you change the email back. Is that correct?
Yes. Mark changed the email for me.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Mark.
I was trying to decode what you were talking about. Now I know it's the Jenkins.io account where yes, I did do that. Thank you.
Cool. So everything good on that area?
Yes, for now, yes.
Cool. Now, thanks. There were an issue to track the packaging GPG key issue. Looks like it was the branch issue. So thanks for taking care. We have a track of this and it's closed and nothing else to add. Okay. And finally, Adrien found the issue regarding the plugin he'll score build failures. He was using Spotless aggressively and it wasn't working with the configuration of multi-branch job on Infra CI. So yep, that's always the trick in CI system when you assume the Git remote names and branches, you end up having surprises. It's not always origin or upstream as one would expect. Nothing else to add on this one. He fixed the thing by doing conditional based on the controller. Any other task I could have forgotten on the done part? Nope. Okay, work in progress. Topic number 1, CI Jenkins IO and AWS. We have two main problems and two minor challenges. Main problems, slow pages. Looks like the slow pages are not there anymore. We are not being hit by a smartass with his LLM crawling and respecting nothing.
Yep.
Now, that being said, the difference since last time is that now even blocking a few big consumer IPs shows that it's not decreasing the DDoS. Now we are being DDoSed by many IPs. So the question is, do we go the direction that Daniel proposed, which I'm absolutely in favor, which will be to block any public IP, public cloud IP from accessing CI Jenkins IO? And then we do exception for us and a few contributor that would have weird network behavior like, oh, my company doesn't allow me to reach the internet. I must use the VPN system that I build myself somewhere hidden. That will avoid, that will decrease the risk of having DDoS because that means people will need their own infrastructure with IP block we could block Of course, it's a mice and cats drive. If someone wants to really DDoS us, we are annoyed. Another alternatives or thing to combine, Gavin Mogan suggested to put CI Jenkins IO behind Fastly or Cloudflare or any of these CDN systems. We won't benefit from CDN, but we could benefit from their DDoS protection system. That would be another radical option. The problem is gone. It only lasted for 4 days.
Hervé is saying that it's not gone in the chat.
Okay, cool.
Cool, yeah.
We can also enforce the login way for CI. If you're not logged in, you're not accessing.
Oh yeah, that was one of the hypotheses, right?
It's not a good one, but it's one.
But that means no more mark weight based monitoring system.
Yeah, you see that that's why it's wrong.
No problem. No problem. That
it's okay.
that
Since we have
system's been
weekly
offline for a
CI,
while.
good to know. But yeah, I'm not sure which direction to go right now. So, Hervé, you say got many occurrences of lost pages since Monday. Oh crap. Yesterday afternoon, I did not see any slow requests, so we'll see. The problem is that it could be the LLM crawling and the EC2 plugin eating all the threads. And both can happen at the same time, of course. Proposal, we keep this one open for 1 week. If we see the problem going back, we immediately start with the public IP blocks. Is that okay?
So we need to find somewhere we can with the public IP blocks from any major ones.
At least AWS, Google, and
Alibaba.
And Alibaba and Azure, they provide APIs for that, so that should be a first. Yes,
Okay.
Hervé? I think you started to say
Yeah,
something.
no, I was about to say that this kind of public list must exist somewhere. We won't be the first to want to block LM IP.
Okay. Yep. I don't know where, except the official reference documentation. Ideally, if we can automate it, that will be better. But yeah, that's the one solution. Yeah, the enabling the login could be something. I'm still annoyed by this one, but I think the more we go forward, the more we have to consider this. Maybe using Cloudflare and Fastly, they use AI to detect AI usages. So maybe. Yeah, that one is really annoying me. I don't know where to go from here. At the moment in time, we will have to make this a bit more restricted. So is that okay? We put on hold to see if attacks come back. See issue for proposed countermeasure. Stefan, can I let you add the enabling login, enforced login for everyone option in the issue, please, in a comment, saying we discussed that during the team meeting? Thanks. Second one, pipeline stuck in RPU. So we had EC2 issue, spot capacity issue, and we also add, and that one should be fixed, subnet exhausted issue. So we didn't, the way we planned initially for multi-zone. Then we tried to pack on single zone that ended up on having 2 small subnets. That problem has been fixed. I had some nightmare usage of subnet AWS yesterday, but the problem is fixed now. We can have almost 4,000 IPs at the same time for the agents. And that's 6 times the maximum boundary we have. So that should be good. Sorry. IP problem solved. We have the spot versus cross AZ data transfer cost challenge now. Spot capacity again. New instance size. cross AZ, other. So that's the current status for pipeline stuck in RPU. Somehow since fall back to on-demand fixed and working. Now that we have fixed what we can easily, and that's the builds and running, my suggestion is now we decrease the priority of this one to focus on other Azure stuff. And as Hervé opened a new issue, that will be the idea, we can provide eventually a primitive to non-plugin developers. So for all projects except plugin, that could allocate a node using our logic of retry with on-demand if the spot instance is reclaimed. The logic that Stefan initially implemented on the ATH pipeline is now in the pipeline library for all the build plugin calls. That logic say try twice with a spot instance and then fall back on on-demand. So Hervé is going to work on the Jenkins core project to improve the situation with the window flaky text that require the RC release leads to rebuild until the test path. Sometimes it's flaky test, but if we remove the infrastructure part, that will decrease greatly the amount of time and builds. In order to do that, that means applying the logic on the Jenkins core pipeline. And that means, Stefan, we will need to factorize that and make it, let's say, a feature of the pipeline library in the future. Yes, Hervé?
So, thinking out loud, a function, something like a block function with retry first spot and on demand. Well, we can discuss that later. It's not an issue for now.
Okay. Okay. See Hervé's issue around the allocation of nodes with retry to on-demand. Reminder, it's only for EC2 virtual machines. So all Windows and the Docker builds or the virtual machine builds. Container don't have that issue. Carpenter takes care of the retries and Carpenter always find capacity somewhere because Carpenter is able to select an instance size across the 200 available. So it will always find something, even if it's a costly one.
So that's another motivation for us to prefer containerized builds when we can, right? If it's just staying off virtual machines, I get benefit because Carpenter will find a spot, whereas our spot selection process is a narrower set than Carpenter will choose.
Yes. So I see two and raised. Let's start with Saksam. Yes.
Hi everyone.
Hi. So
Uh,
you have a question on that topic?
uh, I have not a question on that topic. Like I'm really very new in this field. I somehow searched that meeting. Like I want a small piece of advice. Like I want to contribute in GSOC 2026.
That's absolutely not the place.
Oh,
I'm sorry. We are not related to GSOC in any way.
oh,
There is a group of interest in the Jenkins project for that. We are the
hmm.
team in charge of the Jenkins infrastructure for the project, so we are not GSOC related
Okay,
at
sir.
all.
Okay. So can you
Uh,
please give me that channel's link or anything on name?
I can take care of that.
okay.
I'll post it
Thanks, Mark.
separately.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, sir.
Hervé, yes, you have a question. Sorry.
No, it was sorry, I did not lower my own.
Okay. Okay, so that means we now have two minor tasks on CI Jenkins.io. Looks like the performances on EC2 Windows virtual machines. Yes, clearly it's slower than Linux. I didn't have time to compare with Azure. I don't believe we have a big difference. It's just Windows is slower in its current state. So we have two hypotheses. First hypothesis from James Nord, working around the Maven dependency resolution setup, which is slow on Windows. So that one is highly specific. And that leads me to the second hypothesis we mentioned. Windows 2025 with dev drive by default should help. Because what we found with Gems is that the performances we see on this huge machine we use with NVMe class are still slower than what we can run on a Windows 11 medium range laptop. So there is something. Is it Windows Server? Is it our setup? Is it our Maven? Not sure what. But yeah, so since we have to work on Windows 2025, yep, Windows 2025 dev drive should help. So back to backlog for this one, because as we need to work on 2025 server first. It's a requirement. Any objection if that one goes to backlog? Okay. On hold, but we keep on the milestone the monitor and garbage data volume for the Docker registry mirrors. We need to put in place our new system to run cron jobs from Infra or Trusted, and not from Kubernetes cron jobs, which are a pain to maintain and to keep up to date. Especially when the cron job requires, such as this one, a Kubernetes operation before and after the garbage collect, such as put the service down, remove data or do something, and put the service up. If you need that, you cannot do it from inside Kubernetes. Okay, that's all. Jay, your turn, finally, if you're still awake because it's late your time. Monitor builds on private instances.
Unpleasantly. Yeah, so the recent development was we started the Datadog integration and we've deployed the Datadog synthetic file, which uses synthetic monitors to set up alerts for the three business rules. One is the HTTP status code 200. The second one is the if the build status on the report is success or failure, and the third one, which is the timestamp generation assertion, which is currently being worked on. So the current problem lies in figuring out how to use dynamic variables in Datadog synthetics. There aren't enough examples online, and yeah, the research is going on. Did I
Okay,
miss it?
that's clear for me. Are there questions on that topic? Okay, another question for you, Jay. If we find out that it's not possible to implement time measurement or comparison using Datadog's monitor synthetics,
Yeah.
what will be the alternative to reach the goal?
I'm not sure about that. We have to discuss with the team.
Okay, think about alternative. Okay, thanks. Are there questions to Jay or about this task? Okay. Then next task related to Azure CDF costs. We have a bunch of tasks that I don't believe we should spend too much time on it, except these three tasks are related to being careful that Update Center only deploys data to Update Center or archive, that Release CI only deploys package to package or archive, and then that we only we start to move back out of Jenkins CI/packaging repository the publication logic it shouldn't be on that repository. That's a public repository, and the publication target of these things should be, I've put the packages on that directory, and that should be the hard stop. All the publication part should be on our own, because right now, if you want to change an SSH option, you need to commit on both repository, infrastructure and Jenkins CI public one. Another task currently work in progress, that's something we do a bit every week. We are trying to merge all the data file storage into a single big NFS1. Because with the subpath ability on Kubernetes, we can now split the burden. That was the reason why initially we split it concern, because we didn't want it to have two web services being able to read or write the same directory. Now we can constrain the subpath, so we are cool. The status right now for this one are Javadoc and Jenkins.io are the next ones, next candidate. Are there any questions on this one? Nope. Okay. Artifactory bandwidth usage. Mark already said the status. WIP on the CI Jenkins.io Docker image builds. That one is at least 800 gigabyte monthly. So yes, if we can find a technique to not use Artifactory when running this build on CI Jenkins.io, that will be really cool. Or the other way around, only use Artifactory when we run a release and use mirrors the rest of the time. Infra CI on hold, waiting for new data from the RIN, putting back to backlog. Unless someone objects. Mark is gone, so I can put things on backlog. Infra statistics, it's on hold for now. We'll discuss this next week, Stefan, unless you want to start working on it this week. What's the timing for you?
No, this week I will start working on the usage VM on DigitalOcean. So it's kind of part of that, but not really.
Okay, that's, yep, true that. Is going to take over and start the task of migrating usage.jenkins.io from AWS CloudBees to DigitalOcean with enough capacity to also run stats on it. So is that okay, Stefan, if I comment this issue, explaining, we put it on hold and on the backlog, and we move on the current milestone assigned to you, the migration issue. Is that okay for you?
It's perfect.
Cool. Then we have a few support elements. VPN request, so waiting for user to confirm it worked for them. The request wasn't really clear. That's CloudBees new team member on the Jenkins security team. So confirmed by Daniel and Kevin. So that's legit. But looks like they are not really sure what kind of access they will need. So VPN is okay for them. I'm waiting for them to confirm and to let us know if they need authentication or something. Stefan, what's the status on CSP? I haven't checked in details, to be quite honest.
I open a pull request for Trusted right now, Trusted CI. Once it's merged, I will be able to process with. I'm not sure we plan to do CI Jenkins IO.
We should.
We should.
Yeah.
Trusted, I think cert is done already by Daniel. Do we plan to do release? Not sure.
I think we can do everywhere.
Okay. So work in progress.
CI. To do release.ci. Weekly CI is done.
Yes, weekly was the first one.
Cool. Okay, any question on this one? No blockers for you, Stefan?
No.
Cool, thanks.
Not anymore.
Usage is on hold. Back to backlog. Up. Admin access, same. No. Oh, no. It's on me. I need to contact the new email for support or whatever. I received an email from Gavin. I didn't have time to read it. He said you should go there or something. So I need to read it carefully and follow instructions. GitHub Copilot organization space. I haven't heard from news. It's gonna move out of the milestone, and yep, we'll see if we have any news. On hold for Puppet for Tombstone Puppet. Oh no, it's not on hold. Stefan.
It's not really the same, but yeah. I'm assuming you think about the starting usage of Ansible possible in within the Packer image repository.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
what you have in mind. Yes.
Packer image to replace.
It's not started yet, but I plan to.
Provisioning shell is going to work on a POC on Packer image, replace provisioning shells by Ansible. First step. Cool. That could be interesting for you, Jay, to work with Stefan on, since you played a bit with Ansible in the past. I propose we let Stefan start drafting things, and then Stefan, if you're okay, you can lead or lead Jay on working on this, because I believe it doesn't require an administrative machine to work on. So that could be something easy for you, Jay, to play on your current laptop.
Cool.
And Jira part. So reminder, the LDAP binding password on Jira is safe because we don't have it unencrypted anywhere, neither Daniel, Olivier, or me. So that means
super safe.
That's super safe. However, that means in order to do the migration POC on the Linux Foundation new machine, we need a new password. If we change the current one, we need to coordinate with them because they need to update it first on issues Jenkins.io. Otherwise, we will just put issues Jenkins.io down. That's not acceptable. So we need to be sync, or at least if it need to be announced. And if we do a new
even
account,
Olivier doesn't have it.
nope. He
Okay.
said, no, it's you can decode it if you have access to the Jira machine. Daniel said the same, but none of them are able to do it with their local Jira container image, and neither the sysadmin at Linux Foundation. So I guess it's not an easy one to decode from the file system. To resume. Now, triage. Unless someone has something else on the work in progress. Nope, okay. Basically, we have 3 new issues to add to the triage. Trusted CI credential expiration, support for Windows 2025 agent, that's on Stefan. And the third one is on Hervé, as he volunteered to implement the retry mechanism on the Jenkins core pipeline. Are there other issues you see here that should be added?
Not here, but I noticed that there are a few Bitnami chart used or image used in Jenkins Infra.
Yes, only one, Redis.
And HTTPD. I don't know if the chart is used, but there is a HTTPD image used in Helm chart. I've done the
good point.
yeah.
Cool. Thanks. I took we got rid of it. Oh no, that means having to rebuild. Okay.
I passed the search link into the chat.
Yep. Thanks. We'll check on this one. That's a topic for next week since Bitnami removed. We will have to find a solution for Redis, but yeah, that's not a problem. We will mostly duplicate the chart and maintain it ourselves. Thanks. Anything else? Good. No, I see the usage one, Stefan. Where's the usage? Migrate usage. Oh no, where is usage? Okay, search is something from the past, right? Okay, so I need to find the issue. No worries. I'm gonna take care of that. No, one last thing. I'm going to put a rotation Absolutely not. The LLM will tell me to buy a subscription from someone just because I want to search an issue, basically. Jokes aside, Stefan, is that okay for you to do the notes meeting next week? I will want to put in place a rotation. So we're gonna start the two of us. Jay will be the designated candidate in 2 weeks, most probably. But the goal is to have not always me running the meeting.
I did the meeting last week alone.
Yes.
Because everybody dumped me, even Kevin.
Public.
I think Kevin should be the one elected just because of that.
I'll do it. You won't like it, but I'll do it.
No, thank you. Yes, I can, of course, with pleasure.
Cool. Thanks. I'm gonna take care of publishing these ones, and then yep, we will rotate, and Jay should be the week after. No worries, I will remind both of you. Jay, I won't let you alone on this one though. I will be there to help you the first time.
Yeah.
You may want to publish last week meeting in the documentation repo too. I'm not sure.
Yes, it will be. It's just we didn't have time.
Okay,
If it's not done, it's because we were overloaded.
Correct.
We don't forget this. It's never forgotten. It was the case years ago, I agree. But if you don't see anything, it's because we are absolutely overloaded by the work. It's just not important at all to publish it 3 weeks late. That doesn't change anything. But thanks for the reminder. Okay, that's all for me. Anything else to add before I close? 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm clicking the links that's in discussion. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.